Alright, here we are. Another track guide. I did not know it was Martinsville this week, so it's another week of hell. If you already raced last week, you know what I'm talking about. Because we just don't know how to drive, I guess. Anyways, keys to the race card. Tires as usual. Got the braking, which is pretty important because you're on them pretty hard. And maybe shifting. I didn't do it in this lap, but you can. I have a lap with that, but I didn't really do anything with it. And the last one, just like last week, this is barely any different because apparently people don't know how to drive anymore. I mean, it's really fun to race on short tracks, but we have no standards anymore. So we end up with 30 yellows, 20 yellows, depends just who you get. So always remember that it's still iRacing. You know, this is just the norm now. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and get to pit road. Then we're going to talk about the lap. Alright, making our way to pit road. Heavy braking halfway down the backstretch. All the way down to second gear. 35 miles per hour. At your pit in. We're going to speed this up as usual because you know why. Your pit speed exit is going to be right here. Shortly followed by the merge cone. And there you go. Onto the lap. Alright, as usual. Second lap was a quicker lap. So you want to get a nice good run there. Fixed setup, fixed weather. Again, as fixed as we're going to get. This was a little bit quicker than a lot of other sessions I've seen. So expect your lap time to vary from like the 19.0s to the 19.5s. I would say, I don't know. Only changes I made were the steering ratio to a 2.87. Not sure what that is in metric, but you can figure that out. Brake bias was 42.8, but you got to change the rear master cylinder to a 7/8. Again, I don't know what that is in metric. I'll probably post it from now on. So we're going to see how this lap was done, then we'll talk about it. Alright, there you have it for a 19.147. We're going to back that up. Like I said, you want a good run off turn 4. I'm going to slow-mo it once we get to the start-finish line. And I'm going to be looking at a few points here. This little banner here on the right. This little space between these two logos. Just my eyes are focused on all this. This line, and we're going to make sort of this trajectory, if you will. You'll see it center this line here. And I'm going to be really hard on the brakes. Kind of want to follow this line. Because we're aiming for the inside curb. But you don't want to hit it. But you don't want to get to it too early. You don't want to get to it too late. Really heavy braking. And like any other track, trail braking, you trail off the brake. All the way to the center of the corner, it seems like. Once you feel it rotate, start getting on the throttle. And you can pretty much stand on it. Once you get a nice roll back to the throttle. Because we're in fourth gear and it grabs a little better. Now you can do this in third, but you do get a tiny bit more wheel spin. So keep that in mind. So turn 3, the approach is a tiny bit different. It's a little bumpier in this side of the track. Well, into the corner at least. But there's so many things to look at here. You got the Sunoco sign. There's a caution light way up there. There's this little thing by the brace. This little banner. That's the center line of your car. There's a pit wall thing, I believe. There's a pit entry cone. I'm just looking at all this. You're going to have some trial and error, but this is what I'm getting on the brakes. Same thing as 3. Pretty hard, like 90% pressure. Again, you can downshift at this point, but I took a little shallower entry. Again, aiming for the curbs. Like I said, it's really bumpy into 3. It goes away from center off, but the same exact thing. Wait for it to turn down, start picking up the throttle. Get pretty hard on the throttle. I did kind of lose the rear end a little bit. Not too much, you can see it right there. And that's going to take you all the way to the line. Use every inch of track. And And there you go. Alright, so that's it for this track guide. Relatively short. I know there's a lot of rambling, but that's pretty much it. Now for sure, I'm thinking Texas we go to next. I'm not sure. Well, we'll see. I might not do that. So I guess we'll see you at the one after that or whatever track's next. Sim Racing Chewy side.